Hi folks, thanks so much for joining us for our first video classes. Before we start, just a couple of notes to our karate kids of all ages. With schools closed at an unusual time of year, this is really a special opportunity for our families to spend a lot more time together and grow closer. Being together a lot more also means that we need to be a lot more cooperative and sensitive to the needs of others. Be patient with your little brothers and sisters. Help them, share with them, be kind, and set a good example for them. Be patient with your big brothers and sisters. This is new for them too. Listen to them, ask for their help, and set a good example for them. Be patient with your mom and dad. They may have to work from home, so allow them the peace and quiet to do this. In addition to all their other jobs, mom and dad may need to be your school teachers for a while. Be cooperative, do your best, and set a good example for them. And be patient with your pets. They don't know why you're home all the time and in their business. Hi everyone, thanks very much for joining us. So this is our segment today, our first video for junior black belts, teens, and adults who are all doing the same material under black belt. So you're responsible for Chun-Ji and also the Chun-Ji stick form. So we'll focus on Chun-Ji today. I hope you've done lots of warm-up to get ready for the class. We'll have a little warm-up segment right after this, and then we'll come back and work a lot on Chun-Ji, and I'll give you some assignments to work on, and we'll talk about really specific things that we can do to do better. I'm going to ask you to video the form, and then when you feel like you're ready to test, I'll be happy to watch you on FaceTime or Facebook Messenger so that you can show me or the instructor that you most work with how your progress is, and we can give you feedback on that. So thanks for joining us. Let's do some warm-ups, and then we'll come back and talk about Chun-Ji. All right, let's just do a few warm-ups together, and then you do as many others as you need to on your own to get ready to do really, really strong forms and one-steps, and then we will get busy talking about the specific ones you need to work on for your testing. So you can have mom and dad call me anytime, or you can email me and let me know when you're ready to be viewed for a review, either with me or with the instructor that you most work with. So here we go. All right, hands out in front of us. Let's do a few squats together. Ready and go. 10, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, get as deep as you can. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so hold on to something and pull your leg up behind you. Stretch that quadricep, the muscles in the front of your thigh. Can do the other side. Stretch that. Good. Okay, now jumping. So I hope you have enough space to jump. I really don't, but let's jump as high as you can. 10 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hit the roof. 9, 10. Whoops, hit the roof a couple times there. Okay. All right, so let's do a couple more arm warm-ups. So swing arms, different arm on top each time. All right, now both arms forward. And backwards. And now our favorite one arm back and one arm forward. Other direction. I know, it's a little strange. The easiest way to start that is by having your palms towards each other, and then keep your palms going in the same direction that they're facing. Okay, so let's do 10 push-ups together. So you guys know how to do black belt push-ups. Just make sure that your legs are tight, your seat is tight, your abs are tight. So make a plank with our body, and then just use only frontal deltoids and triceps, just your arms, pushing up and down like this, okay? So you won't be able to see me, but I can't see you, so do your 10 best push-ups. Ready? All right, hit the floor. Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, keep your body straight, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, jump up. All right, let's do a couple of stretches for our legs, both front and side, and then we'll get to work on our one steps and our forms, okay? All right, hands up. Now, all the time we're doing this, do your best to always know where your hands are, and also keep your base knee bent so you keep your weight over the ball of your foot for balance, okay? So let's do straight leg swinging 10 times on this side. 1, 2, 3. A bit higher each time. Hands stay still. Head stays still. Eyes stay still. Base leg stays still. Good. Okay, other side. Same thing. Start down low and try to keep that knee bent. Hands up, elbows in. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. Okay. Side stretch. So turn your back and both heels towards the target that you're swinging at. So try to keep your leg right underneath you and swing your heel towards the ceiling. Try to look where you're swinging it, but keep your base knee bent, just like we've done the other one. So swing back behind you, get your balance, back behind you, balance, back behind you. That's right. Lift your heel. Your foot will automatically turn over because your hip will accommodate the kick. All right, other side. So lift behind you. Well, watch where your hands are. Good, look where you're kicking. Lift up a little higher. Good job. Okay, and take a second to do stretch number 12, and then we'll get to work. Thank you. Okay, let's get to work on Chun-Ji. Now, this is not a form that you're responsible for on your black belt exam, but because it's a first form, it's foundational, it just really sets the tone for everything else that you're going to be doing from this form on up, in terms of stances, in terms of timing, in terms of strength, in terms of delay and explode. So lots and lots of issues come up in this form that will really help you for the rest of your martial arts career. So the first assignment I have for you is, in a second you're going to pause this and go watch the Chun-Ji video that was produced by the Family Karate Penasquitos team. So we're very grateful to them, especially Mr. Aramlee, for creating this. And it's about 8.5 minutes long, so it goes into great detail about this form. Don't miss a second of it. It's really good. So for those of you who are visual learners, you'll get something out of this. For those of you who are spatial learners, you'll get something out of this. So make sure that you watch the entire thing, and then we'll come back. I'll tell you a little bit about the gentleman who's featured in the video, and also we'll discuss some issues about Chun-Ji. So put me on pause, go watch that, come back, and then we'll talk more about how you can work on it yourself. Okay, welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed that. It was really worthwhile. And go back and watch as many times as you want to. I'll put the link in the show notes down here, but you can go to familykaratepq.com and then go to current students, and then one of the things under current students is videos, and about 5th or 6th video down is this one. So hopefully you found it directly from this YouTube channel. If not, that's another way you can get to it, but I'm glad you had an opportunity to watch it, especially because of the person who's in that. So Jeff Lee is a black belt that I really loved. And one of the things I loved about him is he was very cheerful. Now this is a man who had a lot of health problems, and he always fought back to get to his second-degree black belt. Now he wasn't just cheerful, he wasn't just smiling, he was laughing almost every single opportunity he had and whenever he met you. And I just loved that about him. And I think he's a wonderful example for us all. Sadly, he passed away. But when I went to his memorial service at the Poway Park, there must have been not hundreds but thousands of people there remembering his life and his music and his cheerfulness. He's just a wonderful person, and just the exemplary black belt. So I'm very glad that you got to watch him do this form. Now, there are a couple of things I want you to focus on for your own training now, and certainly go back and watch that video as much as you want. But a couple of things I'd like you to work on this. The first one is having one hand replace the other when we're punching. So as I'm facing you, so you will be facing judges so they can see exactly how your hands are placing each other. So we have a couple punches that go in a row forward. So lunge punch, and then what you want to do is when you change hands, you're stepping forward and waiting and delaying, you want that hand to fill exactly the space that the other hand was in. If you can, put the same knuckle in the same spot on the target that you're going towards. So in this form, these are solar plexus level punches, so that means where the rib cage notches, or roughly where your uniform crosses, that's where you're aiming. So pretty much straight out from where your elbow is horizontal to the floor, and then you don't have to have too much up or down movement on your trajectory. You can just smash straight out in front of you. So this sounds simple, but simple isn't always easy. So walking forward, step and punch, and now try to make the other hand meet exactly on the same spot and cover the same spot with the same knuckle. So that's where we're aiming, is right here on every punch in that form. Now, next thing is front stances. Front stance is a big challenge for all of us. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is having our front leg bent substantially, as it talked about in the video, and also the back leg substantially straight. Now, let me hasten to say that does not mean locked. You do not want your knee ever locked back against hyperextension, just like you don't want to hyperextend your own elbow. And I see people punching so far and turning so far out that they're hyperextending their own elbow. You can damage your bursa sac, you can give yourself some serious injuries from overcooking a punch. So make sure that you're choosing to stop right before your arm gets all the way straight. Same thing with front stance. So even though you're using the motion of the hip and the back leg to drive you around, which is fundamental for all power when you're generating, is use your back leg to drive your hips, hips drive your shoulder, and then hand just delivers. I think all of you have heard this story. My brother and I, in the early days of MMA, went to this martial arts seminar at a big MMA training school in Vegas, and we were on an upper story, and over the balcony we heard somebody smashing a heavy bag with a baseball bat. Well, we were all senior instructors, but we went and looked. This sounds pretty incredible. We went over and looked, and it was a lightweight fighter doing lead hand hooks on probably a 300-pound heavy bag, and it really sounded like he was using a baseball bat. Now that is kinetic linking. That is coming right from your foot through your hip, shoulder, and then smashing. So, and lead hand, very, very hard to do. But backhand, this is what we're trying to do, is make our hips drive our body, whether it's blocking or punching. And so you're pushing around with this one. And in this formal taekwondo, traditional taekwondo, what you're doing is front leg bent a lot and back leg almost straight. So pushing around almost straight. So no one else should be able to tell it's not locked, but you know that it's unlocked. So pushing around hard on that one. Okay, so work on those two things. We'll have lots more to talk about. There's a million things to talk about in this form. And it's for a good reason called the most difficult form in Taekwondo. So let's focus on this form today, and we'll come back and talk more about it, as well as the stick form and other things that you need to get ready for during the week. One steps too, we'll get to those. We'll have some detailed discussion about that. So make sure that you're practicing this form. Go back and watch that video again and take a look. Now I have lots of other challenges for you. We have a physical challenge that we'll do each week. We have a self-leadership challenge that we'll do each week, and I'll bring those to you in just a couple of minutes. So by all means, email me. Let me know what was helpful. Let me know what you want to see more of, and we will do a lot more segments during the week. So today's focus, Chun-Ji, and it will give you strong fundamentals for all the other things that you need to work on. So hopefully this is helpful for you, and each day I'll do something else that you need to work on. I hope you have a partner at home that can help you, a family member, somebody like that can hold a pad for you, hold a small target for you. you know, if you have a pool noodle at home, or if you have a wrapping paper cord, that'd be fine. It's great. So make sure that they're holding it in the direction that's the most difficult to focus on. And when you get to board breaking, I'm going to recommend you something like a broomstick. So that's small and hard, and will tell you exactly where you hit it on your target on your body. So lots of stuff coming up this week, but let's start with our fundamental. I'm so glad we're on Chunji. I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to work on something this basic and this fundamental. It again is very, very simple. There are only 2 stances. There are only 3 techniques in the entire form. There are only 2 turns in the entire form. They all repeat, but it will help you with everything else that you're doing. So thanks again for joining me for this Chunji chat, and I'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and we'll work on some new stuff. So thanks very much. Take a look at all the other challenges, see how much progress you can make on them by tomorrow, and then we'll adjust some of those as we go along. Really happy to be doing this journey with you. Again, I'm sorry we're not together in person, but I'm looking forward to spending lots of time with you by video and by email and any other way you'd like to communicate. Thanks very much. All right, everyone. So our physical challenge this week is, if you're a colored belt, to do 25 best pull-ups you can without kipping. And then if you need someone to help you, that's fine. They can grab your ankles, help lift you up, whatever it takes. So 25. If you're a black belt, let's do 50. Now, you might think I don't have a place to do them. This is where I do pull-ups at my house. So we can do 3 different grips. Any way that you can get up there is fine, but just make sure you're being strict and careful. There you go. There are my first 10 for this week. Have fun. Now more than ever, each of us needs to choose to be more patient, more kind, more patient, more loving, and did I mention, more patient. So just as each week I'll share a physical challenge, I'll also share a personal challenge to help us build our self-leadership muscle. To kick off this week's challenge, I've written a little story. Inside each of us is an unwanted house guest. His name is unhappiness. We don't want him, but we can never seem to get rid of him. For some of us, he is a tiny little monster that we occasionally trip over. For others, he is a giant monster that constantly looms over us. What we need to understand is that this monster only stays around because he likes our cooking. He shrinks and grows depending on how much we feed him. As we all know, elves like to stick to their main food groups: candy, candy canes, candy corn, and syrup. Our unhappiness monsters also like to stick to their main food groups: complaint, criticism, and comparison. Every time we complain, criticize, or compare, we are running to the kitchen to make another meal for our monster. The recipe book that some of us run to every day to find delicious new snacks to feed our monster is social media. Hopefully, because social media is so important right now for healthy connections, it will become a more positive and compassionate environment. The door to shut off the monster's kitchen is gratitude. The lock that keeps that door secured is a little more complicated. It is curiosity, and we'll talk about that another day. Committing to never complaining about anything or anyone ever again would be unrealistic and overwhelming. So let's try not complaining. Just for today. Just today. Of course, eventually, tomorrow will also become today. So I have a really cute, crazy dog named Diesel. And so sometimes when I'm talking to you, He may be trying to talk to you too. And yes, he really can talk. When I ask him, "What's that on top of the house, Diesel?" he says, "Roof, roof!" You better hope these video series don't go on too long, because the only thing worse than dad jokes are instructor jokes.